Yo guys, it's Slyroh. You already know that today I'm bringing you guys my battle for week 11 of Division 2 PPL Season 4, all that good stuff against Nidoqueens and his Nidoqueens Park Ranger. And if you guys have not been keeping up with me on Twitter or Discord if you're there, you may be wondering where exactly weeks 9 and 10 are. And basically, I'm going to have an update video coming out soon that is going to go into further detail about where I've been and what's going to happen and all that good stuff. But basically, I moved and internet took way longer to get set up than it should have. So I have been 2 weeks without internet, and that's pretty much it. So I wasn't able to play week 9 or 10. Bill Standish was able to play my games for me. Week 9, I believe he lost to Onesie Bennett. I think it was 2-5. I know he lost. It was to timer, but it was like either 2-5 or 3-5. It was either a 2-0 loss or a 3-0 loss when you're considering differential. And then there was a 3-0 win against Jim last week. I'm not sure if that game was played or if it was a forfeit win, because I haven't really been around to check up, and I didn't really know what was going on with the league pretty much the whole time. So, but I really wanted to play Nidoqueens, and even though I just got internet back this past Sunday, I decided that I was going to go ahead and build and play for him. So basically the whole schedule was, I got internet Sunday, but I wasn't home Sunday at all. I worked Monday, had to take Monday evening to try and build a team so I could battle Tuesday so I could have this up today. So it's been a really tight schedule week, but thankfully I don't really have anything to play for. Rye doesn't really have anything to play for. We both probably could have put a little bit more effort into our team building and playing, but it ended up being a fun match nonetheless. So I'm going to go ahead and just start talking a little bit about my team. I'm not going to go into too much detail because this is the final week, and then it's just this. I would like to have this game played, and then I'm just going to kind of give like a brief summary of how this season went, even though I didn't really play the whole season. But yeah, so we are the Livwurmple FC coming into this game at 4-6. Actually, surprisingly, I thought we would have been doing way worse. But Nidoqueens is about that also. I think he came into this game 4-6, or I think that's right. Yeah. No, 3-6, 3-7. I forget how to add to 10. But either came into this game 4-6 or 3-7. I don't really remember. But he's doing about as well as us. But yeah. So that's how it is going into this game. Torrentee is an assault vest set with like Sludge Wave, Hurricane, U-Turn, and Super Power. Tapu Bulu is a specially defensive sub-leech seat set. I thought it would be fun to use and could be fun for the special offense, specifically things like Heliolisk and whatnot. I have a Choice Scarf Slowbro, which, again, I don't have much to play for. He had a Mega Venusaur on his team, and I could have a Choice Scarf Slowbro that outspeeds that and could do like 80% to it, which would be fantastic. So that was what I was hoping, but he also has enough other Pokemon that are like slower that I could catch off guard. As you can see in front of you, things like Paloswine and Celesteela are things that usually outspeed, but Slowbro would be able to outspeed with the Choice Scarf. Also, if it's like a defensive Togekiss, I could outspeed that also. I just wanted to bring the slowest Choice Scarfer like ever. It beats my previous record. I think my previous slowest Choice Scarfer ever brought was Druddigon, and now it's Slowbro. And I just found it hilarious that a Pokemon with slow in its name was Choice Scarfed. So that was all that was about. But as extra Mega Venusaur stuff, I had a Safety Goggles Mismagius. I didn't really need it, but I didn't really spend a lot of time planning. So it is what it is, and then it's just offensive-ish. It has like enough speed to outspeed the things it needs to, a bunch of HP investment, and then the rest in special attack investment. Nothing too special. Shadow Ball, Psychic, Pain Split, and Will-O-Wisp, I think. Then a Choice Specs Empoleon with like Scald Flash Cannon, Grass Knot, I think, and whatchamacallit, Stealth Rock. Yeah, I had Stealth Rock. Also, my Choice Scarf Slowbro has Yawn, so that's fun. And then my Goodra was a specially defensive Curse Rest Hawk Goodra, because as long as Togekiss got out of the way and Haxorus could like, hopefully, I was hoping it didn't show up. But if it did, I'm hoping to get that out of the way. And then if those two are out of the way, then Goodra should be able to just win this game. But that's basically everything for the team and the pre-game. So let's go ahead and talk about this game. Also, 5 minutes into it, I should say that it's on Showdown because we DC'd on Wi-Fi. We did play this on Wi-Fi, we DC'd, and we had to redo it on here because my DS would not connect to the internet. So that is that's fun. It's not fun because I'm thinking that it might be a consistent issue, and I'm hoping it's not. But I absolutely love that with leftovers and grassy terrain. It looked like a Choice Scarf Heliolisk from the way it looked. So Tapu Bulu is a safe switch in pretty much every time because I lost 1% overall. And Empoleon was a pretty safe switch into Celesteela because I could take 1 hit and I get 2 turns healing of grassy terrain. So between those, I lost 12% with Empoleon, which is really nice. But because Heliolisk was out, I didn't want to go back into Bulu, even though I could have. I went into Goodra this time, which is actually really bad because he could have probably went into Haxorus and then actually didn't have anything to really deal with Haxorus. I knew when I brought this team that I didn't really have stuff for Haxorus, so that was cool. He goes for Earthquake, and I calc that, and that's Choice Banded. So knowing that he's Choice Banded in Earthquake is when I go into Torrentee. And this is the easiest U-turn of my life. He has to switch out, and even if he doesn't, then I know he's going for Earthquake, and then I can just go into his Magius, which is also immune to ground moves, so either way, that was the easiest U-turn of my entire life. I go into Empoleon, he goes for the Shockwave, very cheeky, and I go for the Flash Cannon and kill him. So I just one-shotted Togekiss, basically, which was kind of a roll, but I think it was after the 4% from whatchamacallit, it actually was more in my favor, if not guaranteed. Which is cool, but Helios came back out, and Tapu Bulu went back in. It was a pretty straightforward game, nothing too crazy here, despite all the crazy sets, it's actually nothing too crazy. But I'm going to go ahead and switch out, and I go back into Empoleon. So he goes for Seed Bomb, which is terrible because it's grassy terrain, but I switch out thinking that I could maybe save it. I am faster than the Piloswine, so I could maybe get up Stealth Rocks later. I still want to Stealth Rocks up, which would be nice. It could break any potential Focus Sash from Azelf and whatnot. But I go back into Goodra this time, and then he goes back into Celesteela. But I go for Dragon Tail, and Dragon Tail him out into Azelf. That was actually a really fun turn because he took forever to decide what he wanted to switch into Goodra, when it didn't matter because I just Dragon Tailed him, which was fantastic. I went to sack off Empoleon and figure out whether Azelf was physical or special. It looked like it was special because that U-turn was not invested, which is good because I have like Assault Vest users and things that could switch into that. But Celesteela now goes for the Heavy Slam and kills me, and then is at +1. I go for the Scald, go for the Burn. I also outspeed, which is super fun. He goes for the Heavy Slam, critical hit. I do want to talk about this really quick because this blew my mind because the calc that I was looking at, it said that Choice Banded Heavy Slam at +2, which is kind of what I was calculating +2 because I figured it was the same thing as Choice Band and then +1. And the max roll was like 94%, and he did like 96%. Turns out because math reasons, having a Choice Band at +1 is actually a little bit more than having something at +2. So that's good to know for the future. But also, I do want to see if I can scroll up and look. I wanted to stop it earlier, but when he went for Heavy Slam the very first time when I switched into Empoleon, yeah, it did like 24%, where if a Choice Banded one, I'm pretty sure according to the calc I was using, it should have done like 40% or something like that. So it didn't, nothing was adding up. So the first Heavy Slam he did was like 0 attack investment damage, and then the next one he did was stronger than a +2 Celesteela like could possibly be. So I played the rest of the game not really knowing what the heck just happened, and I'm gonna have to re-look at that Empoleon calc also because I thought the Heavy Slam was supposed to do even more than what it did. So I was so confused at this point, but knowing that Celesteela, like I didn't know how to calc for Celesteela, because one time I calc it and it does 0 attack investment damage, and then the next time I calc it and it does more than possible damage. But we just go back into this whole thing here, and he goes back into the Celesteela. I mean, I am at this point still somewhat calcing Choice Banded, but at this point, I wasn't sure. I was like, maybe if he's not, I could live. But Choice Banded Celesteela does take me out 100% of the time. I think Mineral is like 42%, also because I'm not invested. But I go and burn him, and it doesn't matter. He kills me through the burn, which also was another one that I calced that I think I must have been calcing +2 again, because it shouldn't have killed Mismagius, but I must have been calcing wrong, and then basically Celesteela just wins from here. Fun fact, I actually took Heat Wave off of Torn T to put Sludge Wave on instead, because I thought that Togekiss was going to be more of an issue than Celesteela. And yeah, I'm sure, as you guys can tell, I haven't been putting like the most of my attention onto like this whole battle, because it's Celesteela gets 6 kills, I get 5-0'd, and yeah, that's pretty much all that happens. If I had literally any move other than Dragon Tail, I could have taken out the Celesteela with Goodra, and then could have made it a 4-0 loss. But I only have Dragon Tail, which is negative priority, so rip. So yeah, I basically this game was a little bit of me under prepping because I was tight for time, whatever. It happens. I think if I would have spent more time, I could have probably performed a little bit better. I think a physically defensive Slowbro probably would have been a way better thing to bring. But of course I wanted to be, cheeky. But Rai was also cheeky. His entire team was actually a choice team, which was interesting. It was just an Adamant Choice Banded Celesteela, which does make sense when I'm like relooking at the calcs now, somewhat. I also am never using the calc I've been using. It's been a little weird lately, and I don't think I'm going to use it again, because it was telling me things like Flashcan doing more to Celesteela than Scald from Empoleon. It was also getting a lot of the HP numbers wrong, so I would be trying to put in my HP number. For the few turns that we did this on Wi-Fi, I was putting on my HP number, and it wasn't coming out to the right percentage, because the max HP was like wrong on the calc. So the calc was like really messing up on me a lot, and it really confused me, threw me for a loop. And instead of using like common sense, I kind of just got a little bit frustrated with everything. The calc is supposed to help me like learn stuff. It's supposed to help better inform me of what my opponent is doing, but it was just confusing me even further, and I really just didn't have anything to recover, regardless of whether the calc was working or not, though. I mean, this Celesteela was pretty much going to run through my team. I was so much more worried about Haxorus. I was very worried about Togekiss. I didn't do a ton of research about Celesteela, but just knowing some of the stuff he can do, I thought I had it pretty well covered, but apparently I didn't. And that's just how it goes sometimes, which is perfectly fine. So I don't want to take anything away from Raikou in this battle, because like my team obviously just lost to Celesteela. Regardless of whether I had known how much it would do or not, it still would have done that. So it's not really that big of a deal. So it is what it is. It's really disappointing to be away from the league for 2 weeks, come back, and then lose pretty embarrassingly like this, but it happens. It's Pokemon, and there's really not much I can do. Unfortunately, this is the last game of the season, so it's going to be a little bit before I can kind of redeem myself, but I'm definitely going to work on it, because this was really bad, but there is a lot of outside reasons as to why things didn't go quite the way that I wanted them to, but hopefully I'll be able to battle Raikou again in the future, and we can have a better battle, because this was not the greatest. But also, I mean, just as kind of like an end of the season thing, I only played 5 weeks of the season. I went 2-3 with I think a -7 differential, which isn't the greatest. But for the first couple games, I didn't really like the team that much, and I tried to salvage it as much as I can, but even the final product isn't a team that I'm super into. There are some Pokemon that I've really come to appreciate and like. I absolutely love Tapu Bulu. I would love to try that again. Same with Empoleon. Goodra doesn't seem to be my thing. Mismagius is kind of hit and miss. I definitely do like it, but depending on where it is, like pricing-wise or tiering-wise in whatever league, depends on, I don't know. I feel like it could be overrated in some times, and it can be underrated other times. Torrentee, I've always loved. Slyroh is alright. It definitely did not do nearly as much as I thought it would do, so that was really unfortunate. And then some of the other Pokemon on my team that I ended up getting, things like Gliscor, which I already knew I liked, the Registeel that I dropped because I hate Registeel. I don't hate Registeel as a Pokemon, I just hate using it. It never seems to work for me. Skuntank I got and then literally never brought, so I still don't really have an opinion about that, but I could never find like a use for it, which kind of sucks. And I don't really actually remember what other Pokemon I had. Rotom, which I had already previous experience with. Yeah, this team was, you know, not the best when I took it over, still not the best, and I'm excited to be able to use my own teams that I drafted in the future. So that is basically all I have to say about that. You know, good game to Nidoqueen, good game. PPL, I guess. PPL D2. I do want to say that I don't regret taking over a team in D2 and playing all the games that I could. I did still learn stuff, and it does pretty much secure me a spot for next season. I mean, I'll definitely be back in PPL, so we don't need to worry about that. And yeah, so I don't know, it didn't end up being the best thing, but it wasn't the worst thing, and so, you know, it was all fine. But that is going to wrap up the season and this game of PPL. But of course, there's going to be other content, you know, coming up real soon, and then I'll see you guys in the next PPL season, all that good stuff. So, unless I missed something, you know, feel free to comment and ask questions and do all that fun stuff. But besides that, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. So, that is going to be it. Thank you guys for watching, and until the next time, guys, stay sly.